Hey, welcome back to PianoTurtle. Today, I thought I'd offer a commentary on my first recording attempt to perform the piece. Yes, it's actually, I aimed it as a performance. Okay, so it didn't turn out so well. At least not for me. But I thought I'd show that one to you anyway. Yeah, here's the beginning. And I decided to take it at a leisurely tempo because I want to make it through the entire thing without incident. I have done it once or twice, I think. More likely once before, so yeah, this part right here, it's not actually too bad, but if I was to give myself a master class, there is something to be talked about almost every phrase. Anyway, before COVID, I would have kept on practicing until at least 98% accurate. But being on YouTube after 3 months of staying at home, being kind of bored, the YouTube channel, I've decided to start the YouTube channel, and I did not want to record Ultimate Challenge at all because I'm just learning Rachmaninoff, and before YouTube I never show ever practice sessions, and during YouTube I decided to do it, but I still didn't want to show practice sessions. Why? Because I think it's boring. I would repeat over and over again passages, and how can I show that? If I was the recipient of a YouTube channel information or tutorial, I get bored, so I don't watch practice sessions myself. So but then a viewer says she wouldn't get bored watching them. Just wait until you see how I practice. All those coins on the table. But this version here, I thought maybe at least I can show this. So far I could talk about it, and I'm talking about it because these two passages, relatively without incident, a little minor stuff, but like I said, if I watch a lot of master classes, if I was to give myself a master class, every phrase could be improved, every phrase can be talked about. But then, this piece is also very difficult, which leads me to a thing that I say to my students, because I do intimidate them sometimes when they come to a lesson and they work all week. Some of them don't practice, but a lot of them do. But they work all week. They come to me, right? And they make a mistake. They already feel bad, and then I offer them a solution. It actually works, but it makes them feel worse. Why? Because they work so hard, and here I am giving a solution, and it just demonstrated, and they used the method, and it worked, and they don't make the mistake anymore. Not every time, not every student would necessarily feel, the jubilee, the win, right? It's psychological, so I don't want to intimidate anybody on the channel. Not my future students. My past students I've already intimidated. I don't want that. Okay, this channel, the more I do this channel, the more I realize that this is about growth, motivation, not intimidation, right? Inspiration, not intimidation. That should be my motto for the channel. Huh. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, this is a lovely part right here. But I messed up. I never mess up at this part. At least not in terms of wrong notes. But in this clip, definitely, you heard the wrong notes. I think when the camera is turned on, my mood changes. I want to perform. I want to do so well. I want it to be the perfect version, right? Well, most of the time during my performances, that doesn't happen. And recovery, you see, it's a lesson in itself. Many lessons, actually. Recovery. How do I recover? Okay, every time's different. Sometimes I fumble a few notes. Sometimes I just take a millisecond and my thought comes right back. I can never explain such a thing to a student. This is experience-based. And since that is a learning experience, maybe watching this video could help some students out there by watching discover. I mean, I don't know how I did it. Maybe they watch and observe. They can discover how recovery is done and how dangerous it could be. There's a part near the end in the cadenza, that I really flopped. Last week I coined ultimate flop challenge as a joke because my hands are flopping on the keys trying to impersonate Chico Marx. But today there's lots of flops in here that are for real, and one of my steps in training is performance simulation. Right there. Okay, now those mistakes I have a reason for, because I already rewritten the entire passage this week. I've rewritten it again to add the alto viola part. That part was what I once thought was impossible because it's totally out of reach. But it's there. If you rewind, then you'll see the alto part. But anyway, that's my little excuse for making the mistake at that moment right there. Now also, during this part, the beginning of the development part, my mind loops back to the beginning because I'm used to playing it again and again. And during recording earlier than this, I started playing the exposition again. Now that can happen too. Performance experience, right? I realized that because of YouTube, more than ever, that turning the camera on and just record, it puts you in a mood that heightens the alertness, a sense of alertness and dread at the same time. Alright, just being totally real with you right now with this commentary. Oh, we're getting tricky here. Oh, that part right there, the bottom note is sustained by the middle pedal, the sostenuto pedal. That adds a third hand effect. Right here, actually. Yeah, musically this part is actually very simple, but technically a little difficult because there's so many different keys in here. I've already explained that during my breakdown episode, but I think there's a few flops in here. Yeah, right there. When that happens during a performance, I do feel the jolt, and that jolt can either lead to further mistakes or it can wake me up sometimes and get me to do a better job. That's all experience. I guess the topic of this commentary is what is performance experience, and how do we get that when we don't get a chance to perform anymore? I haven't performed for a long time, right? The COVID thing concerts are canceled. So now I'm getting back into performance, and it gets lost a little bit. You know, I don't want this commentary to seem like I'm just finding all the faults. No, it's about encouraging myself, actually. So it's not me being brave, showing all the flaws. In the past, I don't show it. It's because I don't need to show it. I practice and practice. Concert date is set, and before the concert, a whole month before the concert, I can already do this. I can already do what I'm showing you right now a whole month ahead. And then I spent at least 500 coins throughout the whole month. 100 a week, maybe more. Broken into 7 days, that's actually not much for each section. Usually a section is like a minute or 2 minutes long, so doing it 100 times throughout the week only means about 10 to 15 times a day. So it's not much, all right? But 500 times worth of at-home experience, and then I perform. Well, YouTube tells me, well, no, I actually gave myself the schedule. three videos a week. None of my patrons demands anything from me at all, actually. In fact, some of them told me to take a break. I just might, but I don't feel like it right now. I'm very excited, even though I'm showing you some flops. This part, the jumps, even though it sounds slow, my hands, while editing this, I said, oh, gosh, I'm hopping along really fast. That's a technique I don't have before this piece, actually. It's a new technique I learned. Hopping along almost every beat. Oh, here comes the cadenza. By the way, this performance is live, no edit. I also did a highly edited version because I wasn't happy with this one. But even though less notes, there were less mistakes. Well, because I cheated. Actually, it's not a cheat because when CDs are made, I've been in recording sessions before, and there's an art to editing. It is, well, at least this is my experience. Okay, I've worked with artists and I produced records. We choose a section, we do many takes on it, wrap it, cut, move on to the next section. Okay, what about sections that are really long? And no breaks, no pauses, well, those are harder to edit together. So what we would do is that we would go back and start from the phrase earlier at tempo and lead into where the mistake happened or anywhere the artist is not happy with, and then edit together those two clips where the mistake is. So having passed through it at tempo, we simulate what happened before, go straight through the mistake, and continue on. Yeah, a 5-minute piece can take an hour. A 20-minute concerto can take 3 hours. Now, that's why I respect so much the live performances that I see on YouTube and the ones that I see in live concerts. Yeah, a lot of flops that, you know, if you go back and listen to it again, you'll see that during the cadenza, oh man, I was not happy with it. And this part right here, I actually sped up. I sped up a lot. I normally like to float, you know, kind of like a leaf in wind, right? Or a glider over the views of Rio, you know, those mountains, something like that. I never hang glide in real life, but this is, oh jeez, look what happened there. Yeah, gliding down. So I sped up because I was flustered. It happens. and then I calm down right about here. Yeah, you see, I tell my students, don't give power to problems. They come in every week and they tell me what their problems are, and they want me to fix it for them. But what I encourage them to do is, don't give power to problems. Give power to solutions. Don't talk to me about problems. First tell me, did you think about solutions? If you did, great, tell me them. There is no wrong answer. If not, I will give you one more week. After you did, then I will offer my solution so that we can compare, because to bring out the true mastery in the student, I have to teach them how to solve problems, not to receive solutions. And that comes from, what my grandfather said about the fingering situation. That is highly controversial. I mean, all the fingering that teachers put in. By the way, later on in conservatory, my teacher knows about my grandfather and what he instructed me to do. And then he simply said, well, since you're paying a whole buku bucks amount of dollars to me right now, might as well keep it, right? And then he started to write in my book with a red pencil so that I can't really erase it. You see, everything has exceptions. Oh, here, during the final part of the piece, I sped up a lot. When I get flustered, I tend to play faster. Anyway. And no major flops here. Sometimes playing faster kicks in more muscle memory. And it can help you cover up things. Yep, I said it, cover up things. I often think that a lot of pianists play super duper fast to anyway, at the end of the video, I would like to pat myself on the back. I once thought this entire concerto was impossible to do, and a friend of mine encouraged me for a long time. I'll get to that on my Saturday. The Saturday is a prequel. Sunday is also a journey. So I guess I'm showing you the journey. And now I sign off. Until next week.